So all of us know that tensions on Capitol Hill have risen a bit in the past few years, and particularly, I would say, in the last few months. And really, really sadly, just about a month ago, we saw a near fistfight in a Senate oversight hearing.
Oh, come on. If you do this,
This is a fight between a U.S. Senator, Senator Mullen of Oklahoma, and the head of the Teamsters Union, Sean O'Brien. And we're going to take a look both at the near blows, what could have been done differently, and then we'll see Senator Bernie Sanders taking on a new role that he probably didn't bargain for when he agreed to be chair of the committee, and that's the role of mediator. And we'll take a look at how he did and what worked and what he could have done differently. Let's take a look.
Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
So let me just pause here. I mean, I don't even know what sense to make of this.
Wait, what was that all about?
You're a U.S. Senator asking the head of one of the nation's biggest unions a question at a Senate oversight hearing. And you decide to take the most inflammatory quote that this Teamsters president has made about you, mention that, and then say we could settle it here. If this is not the picture of third grade boyish fights on a playground, I don't know what is. You know, a few years ago, there was a very famous Broadway show called Hamilton. And I suspect many of you love Hamilton. Hamilton is my favorite Broadway show. You may remember how Alexander Hamilton, that is the guy who designed our whole treasury system, our whole financial system, who wrote most of the Federalist Papers, the way he died was in a duel. And now, more than 200 years later, it seems like we have returned to dueling. This is stunning and just shows how little skill many of us have for handling conflicts, right? Some of us are avoidant, but some of us end up challenging the other side, and in this case, it's literally to a fight in a Senate hearing room. Okay, let's see how the Teamsters president responds.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Oh my gosh, right? Like, it's almost hard to look at this with a serious face. There's this opportunity for this Teamsters president to maybe act like an adult. Now, what would that look like here? Well, it might actually be apologizing. It might actually be doing a little bit of listening, like, it sounds like you were really upset by what I wrote, or I could see that there's a way in which what I wrote was very upsetting to you. But instead, the Teamsters president actually doubles down, and now there is this challenge for each side to stand their butt up. Again, let me just say there's, from a conflict resolution perspective, from a negotiation perspective, I might make the argument from the basic ways that we act in a civil democracy, this is really poor behavior.
Act how?
Apology is a really powerful tool in negotiation and mediation. Active listening is a really powerful tool. Acknowledging the emotion as a way to de-escalate, right? We talk about wanting, for example, police officers to get de-escalation training. And here we have kind of two grown adults in the US Capitol actually engaging in escalatory tactics. Okay, enter Senator Sanders.
Is that your solution, everybody?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
Hold it.
I mean, wouldn't we all like to have a gavel A gavel's really nice. Actually, you know what? Judges have gavels. People who mediate and negotiate as third parties actually are often given some way of quieting people down. Now, do I think that's a best practice? Probably not, but in this case, maybe it's kind of a good move. Also, let me just say, kudos to Senator Sanders for intervening, and intervening in a way that actually reminds Senator Mullen of who he is. Because I could imagine other people intervening saying, "Sit down, you dum-dum. Sit down, you loser. Act like an adult."
I said sit down.
Right, but instead he says, "You're a United States Senator." And in some interesting way, what he's calling Senator Mullen to is a better angel of his nature. And really good mediators are always realizing that often when they're in a conflict, they're seeing the worst parts of otherwise very good people. Now, I'm not ruling on whether either of these people, either the Teamsters president or Senator Mullen, are really good people, but it is worth saying that mediators always need to remember that they're kind of seeing often people who are complicated and doing their best and have strong views at a moment when they're least skillful and maybe even miserable. And a move to kind of remind people of their better selves, maybe in a family conflict, reminding someone that you are a father or a brother or a sister. In a business context, reminding someone of that they are an esteemed or well thought of or highly accomplished business person. Those moves are actually quite helpful.
If we can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't like
time.
you, because you just
Hold it.
described yourself.
Hold it.
Okay, again, I mean, it is quite painful to watch this. I have to say, right, as an American, as someone who, maybe I'm in a real minority here, but as someone who still respects Congress, this feels really embarrassing. And it is really embarrassing, and it's embarrassing on the world stage because the two hotheads, right, are still going at each other. Now, I will say in this moment, there's always a decision that a mediator has to make, right? Do I also raise my voice? Or do I let things air out so people could calm down? And that is a hard decision. I think in this moment, Senator Sanders is making the right decision. That is, he realizes that these two are sufficiently hot that they're unlikely, if I let them keep going, to then calm down, but they're likely to escalate. And so I really need to stop this.
You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet. I was.
Hold on.
So as I look at this, right, I literally think to myself, this is not unlike the Aaron Burr, Alexander Hamilton duel. And left to their own devices, these two probably would set up a late night duel on the Palisades and fight it out to the death. So it's an incredibly tough situation for Senator Sanders here to move from the role of chair of a committee to mediator / peacemaker. Let's see what he does.
To a cage match,
No,
acting
no,
like a
sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold
bully.
it. Excuse me.
Hold on.
Hold it. No, excuse me. I have the
I
mic.
will say exactly.
Senator
what he
Mullen,
said.
I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about, of course I
And,
did.
and let me
He's-
let me show you his hearing, because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
Could you not
people
point
are
at me?
being-
That's disrespectful.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I
don't
people that
respect you at all.
respect.
Okay, this is like, it's literally making me sad. I mean, I don't know why, but I'm literally feeling sad. Because, again, what you see playing out here is so immature.
You're acting like a kid.
What could possibly be the legitimate purpose of calling a witness a thug? If I were to sit there with Senator Mullen and say, what was your purpose here? I wonder how he would answer that question. And when you're in a negotiation, everything that comes out of your mouth should be aligned to a purpose. Also, why would you say, I don't care whether I'm acting in a respectful way or not? A basic human need. All of us want to feel respected, and it is a low-cost, high-value thing you can do for somebody. By respecting you, I don't give up any of my pride. I don't give up anything on any of the issues. I don't disrespect myself. Instead, in many ways, I respect my own honor and, frankly, the dignity that everybody, by dint of their humanity, ought to have.
So
All right, hold it. No.
Okay, so this clip ends here. The good news, if you have never seen this before, is that this did not come to blows. The bad news is that not only did this go viral in the United States, but it did around the world. And frankly, it's an embarrassment for all of us. So what lessons can we draw from a negotiation perspective here? First, I think, is really thinking about time and place. To the degree that Senator Mullen had some issue with Mr. O'Brien, there are time and a place to bring that up in a productive way.
There is a time and a place for everything, gentlemen.
That is to say, if you feel like you've been disrespected, maybe you actually get on a phone call. Maybe you write a letter. Maybe you set up a separate meeting. But doing it in a congressional hearing is the wrong time and is the wrong place.
Obviously.
Secondly, is if you are going to raise these issues around relationship, you should do them in a way that actually honors the dignity of the other person. And what would that look like? Well, it would say, when you wrote this about me, or when you said this about me, what was your purpose? And here's how it made me feel, or here's how I experienced it. This at least establishes some way of having a more productive conversation than name-calling, escalation, and challenging a fight. With respect to the mediation aspect, what Senator Sanders did here, I think, is largely quite skillful. He claimed his authority. He interrupted to de-escalate. When Senator Mullen continued, he reminded him that he would have a chance to speak. And he did his best to make sure that each of the parties were called to kind of the best version of themselves. And that's some of what a mediator does. So we just saw an example of someone stepping in to serve as a mediator, even though that wasn't their role. Have there been times when you have found yourself called to be a mediator, even though you weren't expecting it and that wasn't your role? If so, I'd love to hear some of those stories in the comments below. In addition, before you leave, please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, like this video, and ring the bell so you never miss more content like this. I'm Bob Bordone with the Cambridge Negotiation Institute. Thanks so much for watching, and keep on watching here. Okay, it's not difficult to keep watching. Click, click.